boys and girls, welcome back. I got another caddis pattern here today that's super simple. Really good for these late summer months. We get caddis hatches on the little Hannah all the time, and just trying to come up with a little bit different looks, a little bit different patterns, but still trying to keep them simple enough that you can produce a number of them. So what we have here is a strawback caddis. Just a very simple technique that you can kind of use on numerous bugs, and it gives you, a little bit different look. If you've seen some of the other patterns I've tied, a lot of nymph skin, to where you're getting good segmentation and things like that on your patterns. There's other material that you can use, and what I have on the back of this is called Swiss straw, and I've used it in a number of my different patterns. I use it for everything, for wings to casings to shellbacks to you name it. It's pretty versatile. And I was kind of thinking of another pattern I'm going to be tying up here in another week or two for slate drakes. Which is, a mayfly that comes off here in Pennsylvania, and distinctive characteristic of, having a white stripe on their back. So we'll be seeing that in a couple weeks, but this is kind of along the same lines as that other pattern here, to where you can change the Swiss straw on the back and change the look of your bug. So what we're looking at here, like I said, very simple. I got a 3mm tungsten bead on the front, have some Semperfli wire on the back, the Swiss straw, some gray squirrel dubbing, and on the underside, this is just dirty bug yarn by Semperfli. So I'll show you what we got on that. The wire I'm using is sea green. I just picked that just to show you the little bit of contrast that we can get on this particular pattern. The one we're tying up gonna be looking more like this, more of a traditional caddis that we're seeing, and you can see the difference in what the wire color is. This is the same wire color, but it's not as pronounced this way. So pay attention to that when you're picking your colors. Really all I was doing is looking to get some distinctive contrast there. What we have here, got the label all covered up. This is Dirty Bug Yarn by Semperfli. This one, they call it dark olive, but it's basically black and olive together, and just some gray squirrel dubbing here. I picked a little bit browner color that I've been using a lot of, brown mustard color, because that's what we see here in the little Hannah. So let's go ahead and get right on this. Yeah, it's been a pretty versatile color, so it gets a little bit darker when it gets wet. Fly we're using, I just have Semperfli black. Yeah, with the summer months happening now, I haven't been in the water in a month. I'm going freaking crazy. But honestly, it's almost steelhead season, if you want to call it that. Hoping to get up there to Erie for a couple trips this year. Okay, like I said, basic pattern here. There's a lot of different things that you could do with this. And I'll explain that when we get to the ends here. Back inside. I'm going to take that down into the bend, because this is a caddis hook. The hook that we're using, probably should show you that. This is Fooling Mills 5065, just a basic caddis hook. And then we are going to take our Swiss straw, which comes off the package. What we're using here, this is copper. Okay, comes off the package in this big strip. And when you unfold it, you know, you probably get inch and a half, maybe 2 inches. Okay, I cut this strip in quarters and end up with pieces about this size. Okay, so this is a quarter size, but we still want it to be even smaller. So we're going to wrap this, try to keep it on the top of the hook because we are using this as a shell back. Okay. And then a piece of your dirty bug yarn. Now, if you've ever used this dirty bug yarn is actually just multiple yarns that are spun together. But good colors, you know, that they have in it, and it's pretty versatile as far as sizing. You know, if this is a size 14, but if you want to go even smaller, you just strip that yarn down to one strand instead of 2, and you can make, you know, bugs the whole way down to 18 or so, I guess, as small as you want. Okay, so just going to take our bug yarn. The other thing you can do is just, you know, quarter it up a little bit if you wanted a little bit thinner profile, especially towards the back here. I will do that. All I'm doing is just touching wraps on this, and then as you get closer to the top, kind of let it unwind a little bit to give it a little bit thicker profile. That way you can keep the taper a little cleaner. Okay. I'll tie those down. Chop that off. Okay. Now, next step is the Swiss straw. Now you can lay it flat over the back and try to gauge like how wide you want it, but a quarter strip is enough to cover most of this bug. And you know, you kind of, if you can see it from the bottom side there, you know, which is probably too much. So take the end of that, twist that up, lay it over the top the best that you can. Seat that down. Okay, so we're ended up with that. That gives us a little bit of shell back. So that when we put the wire on it, kind of makes that stand out a little bit better. Make sure that that does not twist. Tie that off again. Okay, now I counter wrap this since we wrapped the dirty bug yarn. And I'll take 2 wraps down at the bottom like that before I bring it up over the top. But the important thing is when you're putting this wire over the top is that you hold that strip down, otherwise it'll rotate. Or we could just use the rotation on this vise, but I really want those to be seated perfectly. Okay. Tie that down, secure it. Get your old scissors. Trim that off. Okay. Now, the neat thing, going to use some hard as nails on the back of this. You don't need a lot, but I do want to make sure that that Swiss straw has some of this on it, because it is rather delicate, but it will suck up this hard as nails, like into the fibers. The also neat thing that you can probably see is that, you know, the dirty bug yarn is starting to darken up right there, which just gives it, you know, another element, I guess, if you want to describe it as that. Now the dubbing we put on here is just some squirrel hair. Like I said, I picked this mustard color. I really don't want a lot at the head there. Okay, seat that down. Okay, get your brush that out a little bit. And there you go. Strawback caddis. You can see up here by twisting that, you know, you're creating almost, you're helping that segmentation look a little bit better. But yeah, I showed you the one with the cream back. Showed you this one. That's the one that we just tied here. But change the wire, you know, create a different look. So this is an orange wire, everything else is the same. And you can see the color differences and, you know, kind of pick your poison. If you're seeing bugs on the stream, we see a lot of browns, you know, from the mayflies to, you know, everything else has a brown color. So I was talking about that slate drake pattern, just putting a little bit different element on there with a more lighter shell back. Kind of looks like a slate drake also. So you know, if you want to say that I'm tying two different bugs, you know, call it what you want, but it can work like that, you know. So tie some up. It's a super easy one. Change the colors, change your Swiss straw, go from there. All right, guys, go catch some fish. Thanks for stopping by.